Hey guys, welcome back. So this one here, we're going to redo the wheel bearings, get the old races out, get the new races in, pack the wheel bearings, and put everything back together. So first things first, if you need to know how to jack up your classic air-cooled 911 or 912, I'll link a video up, and then we just need to get the wheel off so we can get some exposure to the wheels here in the back side. And let's get into this here, let that down. Alright, next you're going to have to take off the 15mm banjo nut that holds the brake fluid line to the caliper. Just go ahead and pull that off. Yep, and that one. And with that, then you can go in with a 19mm and you can pull off the two 19mm bolts that hold the caliper onto the bracket that is on top of the rotor. So you got to take this off in order to get the rotor off in the hub assembly in order to do your wheel bearings on a early 911 or 912. Actually, for any modern day Porsche, if I can think of. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way here. All right, and that'll come off. And then we can kind of just move that brake line, that hard line, up and out of the way so we can get in there. Go ahead. Now, remember, you're going to have brake fluid dripping out, so if you have like a little catch pan or something, I like to use the disposable aluminum trays like at Thanksgiving we use for turkeys. You can pick up a set of 2 of those at your grocery store for a few dollars, and they're great to just toss under the wheel and catch all that brake fluid when it comes out as it happens. All right, so next we need to off the dust cap for the wheel nut, the bearing nut there. So let me get this in position here so you can see it on the camera. Alright, so with that, you're just going to tap this little cap off. Just kind of make a few little turns here. And this cap will then just pop right off that hub. Just takes a few hits on it. And it's a metal cap, so don't be too afraid to get in there and pry that off. When you go to put this back on, you're going to have to give it some force as well to get it to seat and stay on that hub right there. So a few more whacks, and I think we'll have this part done real quick here. Get in there, and oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. One more time over here. I think we'll pull it off. Alright, I think she's going to come off, and there she goes. Right on. Let's get a little closer here. Alright, so we've got this off. Now, we need to get in here, and there's a Allen head right there that we're going to have to undo, and then unscrew this, and there's a washer there, and that'll take off. That way we can get this whole hub assembly off of here. So let's go get our Allen wrenches and let's take this off. Got it in there. And then we're just going to undo it. Okay, now this here just unscrews. That's what she looks like. Okay, so let's set that aside. Then inside here is a washer. Right in here is that washer, that thrust washer. And you can see there's a groove right here where it has a little tongue. So just get in there, just kind of pull it out. Get it working. And then you can slowly take it all out. Oh, and there's your bearing. Came out with it. So, all right, let's take this hub off of the spindle. Okay, and there's our spindle. So when it comes to getting out that rear bearing, there's a seal, a grease seal, that you need to replace. And to get it out, they make this little puller. And you simply just kind of stick it in there and pull on it. So let me do that real quick and I'll show you.
And you're just going to go around and around and around and around, working it up until eventually it just comes right out. Now don't throw this away. You're going to use this to pound in the new one. So keep that handy. Go ahead and throw it into our parts bucket here to wash, just so we have it. And then here you can see the inner bearing. And then we're going to wash this up and clean all that out and take a look at what we have and look at those races. Now we have new bearings and new races, so we're going to replace everything. That way we know it's good to go. But we'll wash them up, and if they're not bad, you could reuse them, just repack them and put them in. But since we're going to replace them all, we're going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, we need to clean up this hub so we can take it off. I'm a big believer in stealing my daughter's shirts for work like this. I'll just get what you can out. Just get in there. Wipe out as much as you can. Okay. Then I'm going to spray some carb cleaner in there. Spray the whole thing down. One right here. Get in there and clean that up as best we can. Alright. I'm also going to throw this into my parts washer when I get a chance. So while we're right here, I'm going to put this in our vise. So we want to separate the rotor from the hub, and there's only 13 millimeters. That's what's in there. Yep, there would be a 15 millimeter on that. Just go in and off that comes. We'll throw those all into the parts washer. Make our way around. Okay, so we have all those off. This now, rubber mallet. So we need to get the hub off the rotor. And probably the easiest way to do that doesn't work. That works. One motor. Wee-wee. Okay, so there's our hub. Very lightweight too, by the way. So what I found was a 1 1/8 inch socket, half-inch socket. Let's see if it'll pop up that way. One race out. There it is. So now comes the time where we need to prep our races in order to go into the hub. Now, the smaller one, those are your inner ones that go to the outside, or the outside, what we call the outer ones for where the wheels go. And then the bigger one goes on the bottom. So here's what you got to do. You have to shrink the races. So take them out. Now remember, these are a matched set. So we're going to call this do it kind of like this. This will be our actually this will be driver's side, and this will then be passenger side. So we're going to take out those two right here, since those are a set, and we'll put those out, and we'll take these out, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. What I like to do is take my two races, put them together since they'll fit into each other, put them in a little plastic, and put them in a box named D for driver. And then I'll do the same thing for our passenger side, and I'll wrap them up, and I'll put them in the passenger box. Then the actual bearings themselves, not the races, the bearings I'll do the same thing with, and I'll put them in their box and then their D box. That way I can keep everything separate. Let me get that all put together. Okay, so we're taking our races for our driver's or passenger side. I'm gonna put them in their box. And then for this one, this is our driver's side. I'm gonna put it back in its box. Now, this is the part when you don't tell your wife what you're doing. So you open up your freezer. Oh, score. There's what she's been hiding, the candy. All right, well, as you can see, we're getting low on our reserves since this whole pandemic thing started. Good thing it's about over. So what I'm gonna do is, obviously, this being the driver's side as if you sit, and this will be the passenger sit. We're gonna take the passenger bearings. Look at all that glorious green chili in there. And just take them out and let them do their thing. We want them to get nice and cold. There. Now over here, same thing with the driver's side. Just get them out of their box. And then they're going to sit there for a couple days until we are ready to install them. So you guys get nice and cold and shrink up so we can put you in that hub. Be back in a couple days. And I'm getting candy too. Oh, we're green chili. Alright guys, this is our hub that we knocked out the inner and outer races on. Now we need to put them back in. So I'm going to spray this down really quick with some brake cleaner. And then we're going to go to the freezer. We're going to grab that race for this side first. We're going to pound it in. And then we'll do this side. So let's spray this out, get this cleaned up, and we'll move on to the next part. Alright, passing the bearings. Let's get that big one out first. Let's run. Nice and cold. Out, cold. Okay, let's grab the inner one. This is what I was using. This is just a wheel bearing driver or race set that you can rent from your auto parts store for free. Just leave a deposit, and it comes with a driver, and you just attach whatever size you need to the end and take your hammer and just pound it in. And something you can rent and take back, cost you nothing, or $1 or $2, and you're good to go. So now that we have races installed, and you can see they go below the lip, and how you can tell is, you kind of see in there, you can feel with your finger that little lip right there. That means it's set all the way down. And you'll notice in the video, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the sound changes as you're hammering, and it becomes more of a thud than a ping sound as it sets down. So our races are in on both hubs. We're ready now to pack it with some grease, get some grease in our bearings, and get these back on the car. So when you want to repack your bearings, you want to use a high temp grease. As you can see this right here, this is a grease that I use. And then there's a couple ways you can get the grease into your two bearings, or your four bearings actually. The method that a lot of guys, old school guys, use is they would put the grease in the palm of their hand, and then they would work it in with two hands, and like just to drive it into between the two pieces of metal where the roller bearings are at. And that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to grease up all this area in here. So guys would take this and put it on their hands and get this all greased up. I tend to like this device here. So as you can see, that is the red grease that was in the can. And what you do is you take, and get this unscrewed, there it is. So essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your bearing and tapered side down, and you just drop it on there, right? And see, it's already gonna get squished down in there. And then you take it and you push down, and as you push down, I don't know if I could, yeah, but what's gonna happen is as you push down on this, it's going to, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can kind of see how the grease is starting to come up between those. And so you would just push this down, and then once it's packed, pull it back up, take it and set it into the hub, and that's when you'll grab your grease seal. This is what we use. And you'll take that grease seal and you'll put it down on the hub and tap it in. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, so now that we've got our bearing greased, it's down in there, we're gonna need to clean this lip inside there in order for us to put in our new bearing, or our seal, and it's gonna go in just like that. But in order to do that, we gotta make sure that this is clean and that is clean, no grease. So take your alcohol and a rag and just make sure that's nice and shiny and clean in there. Let me do that and we'll put that seal in. And with that on there, we're just gonna tap it in. Now before we put this on, I wanna make sure that we want to attach it back to the rotor. If you're getting new rotors, you know, you'll have to do this anyways. But just line up the holes and put the 5 screws in and nut them down to, I believe it's 16 foot-pounds. Let's get that done and we'll get it to the car. All right, we now have all 5 of the rotor nuts and bolts in, a little bit of Loctite on those threads, and we're gonna torque it all down to 16 foot-pounds. All right, before we slide on our brake disc, we're gonna have to put a little lube on this, get this all greased up and get it ready. It's about right here, all the way back and on this little hub here. So just gonna take ourselves some and just don't be shy. Just get it on there, get it lubed up. Alright, I think that will do it for now. Let's go and get that disc on. Alright, got it on there. Want to grab that inner bearing. Good and lubed up. Put it in there. There we go. Next thing we're gonna need, okay, now we're gonna take our washer, and then, okay, now I'm just gonna spin this on. Get it all the way on there, and you just work it down until it's kind of tied up against that washer. And then I'll show you what to do from there. So then once you have this tight, then go in and see if you can move that washer with your screwdriver. And you should not be easy, but it shouldn't be tough either. So if you can, once you get that, then you may have to loosen it or tighten it back up until you can get that washer to move around on you pretty free there, like that. So I can move that, there's resistance, I can feel the pressure, but at the same time, it's not impossible to move. That's the way you want to have that. Now, tighten this down to, I believe it's 10 foot-pounds. And then you can spin it and kind of feel how that bearing feels on you. It does feel smooth. I don't hear any grinding, it feels very smooth. There's no kind of bumps in it. I think we're good to go on this side. All right. That's how you repack your wheel bearings. You put in new bearings, new races, clean it up. That is everything you need to do for the front of your Porsche 911 or 912 if you have an early short wheelbase. So pretty awesome. Woo woo! Now let's move on to brake caliper video. Head over there, guys, and check out that video too.